This is the AVKANS 20 times optical zoom PTZ camera. Just to show you what you get in the box when you receive it. Obviously, depending on which one or which kit you get, you're gonna get a user guide as usual. You're gonna get a power adapter to be able to power your camera, a remote controller, and mainly you're gonna get the camera as well. And this is what the camera looks like. Now, this camera is actually one of the best PTZ cameras you can actually get on budget. And we're gonna go ahead and actually take a look at the actual camera. As you can see, the camera is not really that big. It's really lightweight and it's super portable. And as you can see, this is the back of the camera. On the back here, we got a lot of connections, including SDI, HDMI, and Ethernet, to be able to connect this camera to your network. And this actually is going to help you to be able to control it. Let's say if you're using an IP controller, you're gonna be able to actually use this Ethernet connection. But on the top of that, this camera has a feature called PoE, which means power over Ethernet. This simply means that you can actually power this camera using something like an Ethernet switch with this single Ethernet cable, and that's gonna be able to provide power to this camera without having to use the actual power adapter. So imagine if you're hanging this camera somewhere in the ceiling, you're probably not gonna have a long enough cable to be able to power it. That's why having one Ethernet cable, both helping you to control it and powering it, is actually super awesome. On the top of that, you actually have two options when it comes to connecting this camera to your switcher. If you're using switchers that use HDMI, you're gonna be able to actually send an HDMI cable to your switcher. If you use SDI, you still have that option as well. Obviously, you get a few other connections here depending on what you need. If you want to use some traditional controllers that don't use IP, you can go ahead and actually use those as well. In my opinion, IP controllers are the best when it comes to controlling this type of cameras, because you only need one single Ethernet cable to connect to each camera, and as long as the camera is on a network, you're gonna be able to access it and be able to control it, which is awesome. This camera is gonna give you full HD 1080p image quality. In my opinion, really, the image quality is actually really good. Obviously, this is a PTZ camera and the sensor is not super big, so you're gonna need to have obviously enough lighting. You're getting 20 times optical zoom, which is really good, because if you're using this camera for let's say for a church service, business conferences, or maybe you filming some soccer game or anything, this is gonna be super awesome because you can actually get to zoom in and zoom out. If you're using this camera in a studio, you can actually simply use the remote controller that comes with it, and that remote controller is actually going to help you do some zooming, pan and tilt. You can even create some presets as well using the remote controller. Obviously, this is gonna be a powerful tool, especially if you're not sitting too far away from the camera. Overall, this is a fantastic camera if you are on a budget. Again, I have to mention that this is a PTZ camera, so it's gonna help you pan, tilt, and zoom. That's the actual meaning. If you're looking for this type of solution, either for your business, your church, or your conferencing needs, this is gonna be an awesome camera.